LEX 18 News.
The dangerously cold air is here, causing deaths, interstate shutdowns, and power outages. We are live across central Kentucky with the latest on this winter blast that's not only impacting us, but 2/3 of the country, and right before Christmas. This is LEX 18 News at noon. It begins right now on this day before Christmas Eve. Good afternoon. I'm Chris Goodman. Dia Davidson is off today. We've been talking about it all week, and the powerful cold has arrived. Wind chills have been well below zero. There is snow and ice all over the area. We begin with storm tracker meteorologist Emily Goodman in for Tom today, who joins us now with a look at the current conditions.
Yeah, Chris, definitely one of those really brutal days that if you can stay home, do so and keep under a blanket or a roaring fire or beside a roaring fire, because we have some extremely cold, dangerous temperatures right now. Let's start with Max Track, because sometimes it's difficult to tell if we're actually seeing more snow falling or if the wind is just kicking up the snow that's already on the ground and kind of producing a fog or so, some haze in the skies that looks like snow. As of right now, and since this morning, most of the snow has tapered off and pushed to the northeast. Aside from a couple of stray snow flurries or really light snow, light enough to be picked up, to not be picked up on Max Track, we do look mostly dry. So we still have some of those strong winds. Again, there could be a couple of light snow showers around, but for the most part, this is wind that's kind of blowing the snow around the region and creating this haze, these foggy conditions. Visibility, of course, still on the lower side. So if you are traveling, keep that in mind. And roads are still really bad, so you need to use drive with extreme caution. Temperature is right now, everyone's still in the negatives except for a couple of spots, the warm spots that are at 0, Jackson and Williamsburg. The rest of us -2 in Lexington, Danville, Somerset, -3 in Frankfort, -6 degrees to the north in the Covington area. When you factor in the winds that are coming in between 35 and 40 miles per hour still, and that's not even the worst of the wind, we still have wind chills way down below 0. 20, 25, maybe even 30 degrees below 0. That is crazy cold. The rest of the day, again, we don't warm up very much. We'll see kind of a mixture of clouds and sun to mostly cloudy skies, the strong winds, the bitter cold. So bundle up if you have to be outside. I'll break down more of your Christmas forecast in minutes.
Emily, you mentioned a lot of roads still in bad shape today, and drivers on Interstate 64 got stuck in quite the mess in Scott County. A series of crashes caused police to shut down the interstate in both directions between Lexington and Louisville. Our own Christiana Ford and chief videographer Brian Stahl ended up stuck in that resulting traffic, but they have since made it to Woodford County, and they continue our storm tracker coverage with a look at how things are going right now.
Yeah, that's right, Chris. We have since made it out, but as you can see, that traffic is still behind us. It has cleared up, but it's gotten a lot better. We're right now on the entrance ramp going eastbound onto I-64, and as you can see behind me, Woodford County sheriffs have blocked off this entrance, and you can also see a tow truck, larger scale tow truck for other large-scale trucks. They have had to rescue quite a few vehicles out on the road today, but traffic is back moving. But we were right in the middle of it, and I want you to take a look at this video. You can see the slowdown traveling westbound toward Frankfort. Traffic has been crawling at some points and then immediately back to a standstill. But we are definitely seeing those whiteout conditions Governor Beshear was talking about, caused by strong winds blowing up snow and then creating blizzard-like conditions. Listen to what Governor Beshear said about this accident.
That is a very new accident that is blocking both directions of I-64. There are multiple collisions around the I-69 marker in Scott County. So this is I just received this as I was coming up to the podium. We'll get more information out there, but unless you're doing your important job like Christiana is please stay off the interstates. Those are the places that we are seeing the most accidents, but they're also the places that can create the most danger for other motorists that are out there. So, Christiana, stay safe. Make sure to call if you guys need any emergency assistance.
Now, Governor Beshear says rescue crews have been helping people on intersects all across Kentucky because those intersects are where we're seeing the most collisions. And that's going to be happening throughout the day, he says, because what's happening on the roads is they're really thick, ice-like conditions on the interstate. So you definitely want to stay off of those and stay safe. Back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Christiana, thank you. Here's a live look at the outage map from poweroutage.us. Right now, more than 20,000 Kentuckians are without power. Woodford County has the most outages in our area with 2,500 customers in the dark. In Fayette County, more than 900 currently don't have power. And in Madison County, some neighborhoods there experienced a power outage this morning. LEX 18's Lee Searcy is live from one neighborhood where she spoke to neighbors about losing power during negative single-digit temperatures. Lee.
Well, that's right, Chris. People who live in this neighborhood tell us that they lost power around 6:15 this morning. The lights kind of flickered on and off. They got a little hope, but then they were off for a total of 3 hours, and they came back on just around 9:15 this morning. So for 3 hours, they had no heat. Not the day to lose your electric heat when it's well below zero. Clark Energy reported outages in Madison, Bath, Powell, Clark, Rowan, and Montgomery counties. Roughly 1,200 customers in all. Much of the power has been restored, though. Several people I talked to along Lee Drive here in Madison County say their homes got down to a chilly 58 to 60 degrees. That's still a lot warmer than it is outside.
It's dangerously cold. I mean, I would advise anyone, if you don't have to be out, don't go out. And if you do go out, well, you need to bundle up.
That is the best advice of the day and probably for the next 24, 48 hours. It is frigidly, dangerously cold outside. I spoke briefly with the deputy judge executive for Madison County. She says as far as power outages go, they've been very sporadic, but we all know if you're that one home that doesn't have electricity, it's cold, especially on a day like this, that is not good. Since we've been out here, we have seen county road crews going over and clearing these streets, but for the most part, people are heeding the advice. They're staying inside. They're not heading out. Live in Madison County, back to you in the studio.
Lee Searcy, thank you. Even though we are dealing with near-record cold, we still found some people out and about town. Our Evelyn Schultz talked with them about how they're handling the frigid temps. She continues our Storm Tracker team coverage all bundled up right here in Lexington. Evelyn.
Hey, Chris, good morning or good afternoon, I guess at this point. It's been a long day here for us. I still have my ski mask on. Understandably, not a lot of people out today. The ones we did find at the gas station were making a stop in Lexington on the way to their final destination. Some of them said they had actually spent the night here last night to avoid driving in the snow. But when they woke up, they saw the icy roads, the gusty winds, and the temperatures below zero.
I don't like it. I'm ready to get down to Florida. I spent the night here.
So it's freezing and the chills, I don't know, like my face. That's the only place that's not covering. So I feel that it's really hard.
Well, I just put on the Google Maps and it told us we already have an accident on 64, so there's a 30-minute slowdown, but that's okay. I don't mind going slow in this.
And that is the best thing you can do if you do have to get out on the roads on the interstate today. Take it as slow as you can. The main concern really on the roads, there's that layer of ice, and then there's also these winds that have the potential to whip snow up and create dangerous whiteout conditions. Something to keep in mind. Also, we haven't seen any major incidents in Lexington yet today, but of course we will keep you updated if anything changes. For now, I'm live in Lexington. Evelyn Schultz. Schultz, LEX 18 News.
Thank you. Northern Kentucky and Cincinnati drivers were facing these types of roads. As you can see, this morning's commute was difficult with snow-covered roads. This was on I-75. The wind was also making it difficult for drivers as the snow was blowing, causing wipeout conditions. To our west, this was the snow in Louisville last night. A winter storm warning is in effect until this afternoon. By Christmas Eve, temperatures are expected to improve slightly, but wind chills will still be below zero all day, most likely. The storm causing some travel troubles near Louisville, so give yourself some time if you are traveling that way. There were numerous crashes last night and throughout the morning in the Commonwealth. The state's transportation cabinet tweeted that road surfaces are especially treacherous, causing pileups. They say the temperatures have fallen so low, the salt and calcium chloride they use to clear the roads is not doing much to melt the snow and ice.
The lines on the roadway were actually visible. They are now, the roads are currently completely covered up with snow. The temperature continues to drop. We highly encourage anybody who can do so, please stay at home, stay indoors, try not to be out on the roadway.
And that was a Bardstown police officer who posted an update on the department's social media page showing road conditions there last night. They posted another update a short time ago, and conditions are still dicey on the roads there in that Nelson County community. In Paducah, the same thing that we're seeing, snow-covered roads. This video from last night where it looked like a ghost town. No one was out on the roads, thankfully. Obviously, conditions currently are less than safe regardless of where you are in Kentucky. It's best to stay home if you don't have to get out. And it is not just us dealing with this massive dome of Arctic air. It is in 2/3 of the country, from the northern plains all the way down to the Gulf Coast. Morgan Chesky reports on this record-breaking cold.
A deep Arctic freeze crippling much of the country. The swirling, powerful storm causing dangerously cold temperatures from the northern plains down to the south.
It's cold, but when it's negative 20, it's just another level.
A news anchor in Montana with a frigid show and tell, dousing clothes in water that just minutes later were frozen solid, letting him turn a shirt into a frozen airplane. In Chicago and Kansas City, conditions felt like 30 below zero with a dangerous wind chill. In Bismarck, North Dakota, a bone-crunching 55 below. Perhaps the biggest shock, hitting the usually mild south, with rare hard freeze warnings triggered along the Gulf Coast. In Dallas, sub-freezing temps at DFW Airport today could hit 30-year lows. Escalating fears the cold could cripple the state's power grid, just like last winter. That freeze leading to at least 250 deaths. The governor reassuring residents.
The grid is going to be able to perform with ease.
Fort Worth officials now opening extra shelter space to protect anyone unhoused. What forecasters are calling a once-in-a-generation winter storm is bringing record snowfall, wind gusts, and power outages to much of the country. As families huddle together for their holiday celebrations, officials are recommending important steps to protect your home and everyone inside from the cold. You can protect pipes from freezing by adding insulation and checking for leaks. Seal window drafts and keep curtains closed to prevent heat from escaping. Covering floors and doorways will also keep your home warmer. And clean out gutters to prevent any ice buildup. A few tips for this holiday weekend. Turn polar plunge.
Morgan Chesky reporting. This is a look at Interstate 40 in Nashville. There are some slushy and icy spots on the roads that are tricky to navigate down there. So far, Nashville Metro Police reported 34 crashes this morning. Most of them were non-injury. The Nashville area will have a winter weather advisory in place until this afternoon. And if it wasn't for the weather today, would be a busy travel day. Right now, this is the current flight status board at Bluegrass Airport. Flights to Philadelphia, Detroit, Charlotte, Chicago, and Dallas canceled. If you plan to fly at any airport today, make sure to check with the airline you're flying with to get the latest on delays and cancellations. And we have plenty of ways to keep you weather aware during this blast of winter weather. You can track any snow, sleet, or ice with us by checking out our website, lex18.com, and you can get your forecast when you're on the go with the free LEX18 Storm Tracker weather app. So how long is this Arctic cold going to stick around? Your full forecast with Emily Goodman is coming up. Here's a look at lottery jackpots now. Tonight is the next Mega Millions drawing. Jackpot up to $510 million. Tomorrow's the next Powerball drawing. That jackpot, $186 million.
The future looks good. The future looks good to me. We'll find a way back. We're on the right track, and we don't look back. No, no. The future looks good.
What I want this holiday, you can gift more and spend less at TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and HomeGoods. With more cheer to go around, more presents to impress, and more joy for your money. TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and HomeGoods. Spend less, gift more, all season long.
With Sonic's 2 for $5 menu, you get 2 delicious things for only $5. How will you know which 2 to choose? Don't ask us. That's a rhetorical question. And everyone knows 2 for $5 is better than 1, which is helpful if you struggle with decision making. The Sonic 2 for $5 menu.
Sonic. West Shore Home prides itself on being the fastest and most convenient option for homeowners looking to update their shower or bath. Call in right now to take advantage of this limited time offer. Get 5 years of 0% APR, and for a limited time, get 50% off the cost of installation. The best part, when it comes time for installation, they can have your new shower or bath installed in as little as 1 day. Call the number on your screen right now to get your shower or bath project started and to take advantage of these amazing savings.
Densify from Crest Pro Health. Like bones, your teeth lose density over time, but Crest has you covered. Crest Densify actively rebuilds tooth density to extend the life of teeth. Crest, the #1 toothpaste brand in America.
A dental tool is round for a reason. So is an Oral-B. Round cleans better by surrounding each tooth. So clean, you'll feel like you just left the dentist.
What you waiting for?
Oral-B. Brush like a pro.
Come and get it.
LEX18 takes you on a tour of the biggest, best light displays around, and you don't even have to leave your home. Watch Best of the Bluegrass Holiday Lights Edition, Christmas Day at 4:30 p.m. Sponsored by Kentucky Utilities.
The Kentucky Lottery, over $4.4 billion in grants and scholarships.
So I'm thinking the good news here, Emily, and for Tom today, I mean, it at least it's going to warm up pretty quickly once we get past the Christmas weekend.
I mean, we're talking big warm up.
Yeah,
we're talking from one extreme to the other. The coldest air we've seen in years to maybe not the warmest air we've seen in years, but
much more mild.
Big warm up heading our direction, much higher or warmer than normal, which right now is in the low 40s. That's normal for this time of year now that we are into the winter season. Okay, so want to reiterate, you've got to be careful on those roads. There has been no improvement on the roads I traveled in here in the northern part of Lexington from about 1:30 this morning to even about 11:30 this morning. So you do want to take extreme care on the roads if you have to drive. If you don't get out. It's not worth it. It's nasty out there. And if you haven't stepped out to feel the cold, there are no words to describe how cold it is. Honestly, I think in my over 30 years of living, I have not experienced cold quite this cold. There is a layer of ice underneath the snow. So if you get down to that, then of course you know ice is much more dangerous to travel on than snow is. Continuously blowing snow. If we have flurries or even the wind blowing the snow back on the roads, there's going to be that, so that there is reduced visibility. So again, just really hazardous travel for the rest of today and maybe even a good chunk of tomorrow too, because we just don't warm up a whole lot. Low pressure system continues to sweep the rest of the snow, even still some rain falling in parts of the upper northeast. We have a lot of that snow exiting the area. A few flurries and snow showers still possible, but overall will be dry moving into tonight. Here's a look at some of the snow totals. This is just a sampling from some of the reports that have come in through this morning. Most of the snow should be wrapping up, so these totals should hold true. Couple of 1 inches in eastern Kentucky. Knox County had a 1.7. Powell County had a 3-inch reading. So did Franklin County. And you had closer to those 2 to 3 inch range over in Louisville, Bowling Green as well. Lexington, 1.8 on the dot. That was the official number. Casey County, 2 inches, 1.5 for Russell County. So again, all within that 1 to 4 inch range, which is what we have been saying since about Tuesday or Wednesday of this week. Future track shows breaks in the clouds at times. It's cloudy right now in Lexington, but we'll see peaks of sunshine, bits of blue sky here and there moving through this evening. Another frigid night coming up, maybe not quite as cold as it's been today, but we will continue to see those wind chill values well into the negatives overnight through part of your Saturday too. Notice how temperatures, though, start to come back up. We even get to the double digits tomorrow afternoon. Who knew we would be excited about the double digits? 23 below zero in St. Louis, 26 below zero here in Lexington. We've got some of the coldest air right now sitting over us. Minneapolis is only about 4 degrees colder as far as the wind chill goes than us right now. That is impressive. Then you got Miami down there, still temperatures in the 70s and 80s. All right, so the wind chill warning will be replaced, and we will have a wind chill advisory that will go into effect at 1 o'clock and last until 1 p.m. on Saturday. Then you have wind advisories over to the east part of northeastern Kentucky as well. So the winds are going to start to come down a little bit, but still in that wind chill advisory range. High temperatures today, probably not even getting above zero. 13 for your high on Saturday, 18 on Sunday, and then it's that slow and steady climb up toward 50 degrees by late next week. So again, very frigid today. We've said that 20,000 times. Wind gusts around 45 miles per hour. Again, stay in if you can. Low temperatures tonight dropping way down. We're probably going to be breaking this record right here, 7. That was the coldest high temperature of the day from 1989, and we have been well below 7 today. -1 degrees overnight tonight, and then moving into your 8-day forecast, we get into the 20s on Monday, 30s on Tuesday, 40s on Wednesday, rain chances, 40s and 50s late next week.
And there is some big news from Congress on tonight's spending bill deadline you may have missed. We're going to have that story coming up. LEX 18 News at noon continues in just a minute.
This is the big one, and there's no time to waste. P-Rat's year-end clearance is now, and discontinued closeout and clearance items must go now. Save up to 30% off the sale price on clearance open box and closeout appliances. Get up to 3 years special financing with 0 down. Refrigerators starting at $5.99. Dishwashers from $3.49. Washers from $4.49. Dryers starting at $1.99. Electric ranges from $4.99. Freezers from $1.99. The year-end clearance at P-Rats.
Want luxury hair repair that doesn't cost $50? Pantene's Pro Vitamin Formula repairs hair, as well as the leading luxury bonding treatment for softness and resilience without the price tag. If you know it's Pantene.
Suffering from sinus congestion, especially at night? Try Vicks Sinex for instant relief that lasts up to 12 hours. Vicks Sinex targets congestion at the source, relieving nasal congestion and sinus pressure by reducing swelling in the sinuses. Try Vicks Sinex.
And I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't think that they'd understand when everything's made to be broken. I just want you to know I
anticipation. The sense of wonder. All the magic of the season. Put a little play in your holiday with these scratch-off games from the Kentucky Lottery.
Thousands of miles apart, but we can still connect with each other. And when we do, we make things better. We connect millions of children around the world with what they need to grow up healthy, educated, and safe. Together, we can make the world a better place, 2 small worlds at a time. Join us today at childfund.org.
LEX 18's Pet of the Day, sponsored by Southern Barker, reserved for the dog. You're watching LEX 18 News at noon.
U.S. lawmakers are expected to avoid a shutdown of the federal government today with just hours to spare. The House is expected to approve a budget for the rest of the fiscal year. The U.S. is poised to get a new omnibus budget, including $45 billion in emergency assistance for NATO allies and Ukraine. The House taking up the $1.7 trillion package today after the Senate passed it yesterday. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky back in Kyiv after his visit to the United States, claiming it as a success, while Russian officials say it only fuels the conflict. Matt Bradley reports now from Kyiv.
2 days after his historic visit to Washington and his address to Congress, President Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine has signaled that he's back in Kyiv, where I am now, the capital of Ukraine. And we're starting to hear in earnest some real reaction from the Kremlin, from Moscow and Vladimir Putin, Russia's president, about that visit and about all of the gifts that President Zelensky seemed to get from his Christmas list. Now, President Putin, this is really just vindicating something that he's been saying ever since, even before this war started. He's not really fighting against Ukraine, of course he is, but that he's fighting against the entire West and specifically against the United States. Now, crucially, we heard from Vladimir Putin, he used the word war to describe his invasion of Ukraine for the first time, instead of using special military operation, which is the term that he coined for this conflict. He also sort of belittled the notion of the Patriot missile system, which Washington gave to the Ukrainians to use against Russia, saying that it's an old system and that Russia will find an antidote to it. And he said that Russia is willing to negotiate with Ukraine and has always been willing to negotiate with Ukraine. Now, Washington immediately poured cold water, kind of laughed off that notion, saying that Vladimir Putin and Moscow have shown zero interest so far in any negotiations with Ukraine. They reiterated that President Biden is willing to sit down with the Russian president and try to come to terms or some sort of agreement or, make nice in some way. Though that's something that really wouldn't go over very well here in Kyiv, which is continuing to face bombardments from the Russians. There's fierce fighting on the front lines, particularly in the east. And the Ukrainians simply consider the Russians to be arch enemies who have been treacherous and have never stood by their word long before this latest conflict began. Matt Bradley, NBC News, Kyiv, Ukraine.
And thank you for joining us today for LEX 18 News at noon. We are back with more special coverage of the winter storm next at 12:30.
LEX 18, streaming local news 24/7. Search for LEX 18 on your device. Special report.
Spectrum just launched Spectrum One, where Spectrum Internet, advanced Wi-Fi, and unlimited mobile come together to keep you seamlessly connected wherever you are!
Switch to Spectrum One and get 300 megabit internet for $49.99 a month, plus free advanced Wi-Fi and one free line of unlimited mobile with no contract. Call 1-833-743-4999.
The Coopers here just got Spectrum One. Why did you switch?
Because Spectrum Internet delivers the fastest download speeds in the nation.
And the fastest Wi-Fi speeds.
Look, I can stream Spectrum News across all our devices.
And the advanced Wi-Fi has enhanced security and privacy features that automatically block online threats, keeping our family and devices safe and secure.
How reliable is Spectrum Mobile?
It's a super reliable service coast to coast.
And it includes nationwide 5G.
Switch to Spectrum One and get 300 megabit internet for $49.99 a month, plus free advanced Wi-Fi and one free line of unlimited mobile with talk, text, and data. Call 1-833-743-4999 or visit a Spectrum store today.
Surprise! It's a new Buick.
You got me a new Buick?
Oh, and there are more gifts inside.
You got me the head-up display.
Wow! It's a massaging seat.
Okay, what next?
Alexa, turn on holiday lights.
This year, give the gift of technology in every Buick SUV.
It's the holidays. Get 3.99% APR and no monthly payments for 90 days on these Buick SUV models. Visit your Bluegrass Buick dealer today.
It's your weekly exclusive look inside UK athletics from your official station for Big Blue Nation.
BBN Game Day, presented by Central Bank. Saturday at 9 a.m. on LEX 18. Friday, a father accused.
Didn't know what to do. I wanted to stop it, and I didn't know how.
A heartbroken sister fights for her brother, his children, and for justice. Dateline, Friday.
Your Honor, the defendant is groping her attorney.
That's night court, baby.
Big Bang's Melissa Rout.
Anyone that's a stripper, please go home.
John Larroquette.
I am renowned for charm and grace.
Night Court, January 17th on NBC.